Joining me for this discussion is from the HUD Group Director Mentorship, Afi Abenyo, and she's joining me. HUD Group is the Human Development Group. Now, talking about critique, most people criticize. Now, being a person in the public eye is something that I'm used to. People can critique your behavior, they feel in public, your performance on screen, and it's something you're used to. How you dress, how you present yourself, you deal with it. But generally, in most of our lives, people will criticize most things you do. A lot of times, it's actually coming from a place of love. However, I guess the best way is how you yourself deal with it. If you take it personal and you choose to pick only the negative, it can actually be detrimental, and some people end up getting hurt by it. So we're going to be finding out how to get that right balance of taking critique and dealing with it in an effective way. So Afi, good morning. How are you?
I'm great. Good morning.
Oh, very, very well. Thank you very much. Good morning to you too. So just talking about criticism in general, a lot of times people tend to see it as is a negative thing. So just first and foremost, just define criticism for us, or criticism. I can never say that word, but yeah.
I simply say that it's feedback.
Okay.
Feedback you receive from friends, you receive from folks. So, I mean, the definitions go with whether it is destructive and whether it is constructive. In all, like as I said, it is feedback. It is a judgment you get from people of your faults or some merits of an action that you have done, or sometimes an attitude you've put up, sometimes and most of the time also on your work as a professional. It could also come from diverse angles, your relationship with others in terms of friends, family, and that. So it is feedback. It's a judgment you receive from people, friends, on your attitude. And it could be good judgments, and it could be also some destructive judgments.
Okay, so I want to focus on the positive, so constructive criticism. So there's nobody in this world who's perfect. There's certain things you're going to do that people will say, have some things to say about it. So when it's constructive, so let's look at the things which are usually the positive aspect of critique.
I always say that for the receiver, there is nothing like a destructive criticism.
Okay.
So you who is receiving it, everything that comes to you as feedback should be analyzed. Make some time and look at it, because yes, there are people who are set out to probably say something to put you down, but if you receive it as something that's supposed to put you down, then it means that you're going to act in ways that it's supposed to put you down. So for the receiver, every feedback you get, you should see it with the eyes of a very constructive feedback, so that you can analyze it. And in analyzing it, you try as much as possible not to be sensitive and emotional about it. Put logic to what the analysis you're doing, and that helps you to take out the good side of what you're receiving. It also helps you to really realize the motive for that feedback, as I choose to call it, so that you know how to manage it. Because when you realize the motive, it sometimes helps you to manage what you're getting.
Okay, there's also the flip side where some people's critique is really just insults. They're just trying to be mean. They don't have nothing good to say, so it's just mask, and it can actually psychologically affect a person. Yeah. So let's look at the negative side of also critique.
I will make the statement again. The receiver, nothing should for you be negative.
Nothing.
Even if it's an insult. I'm telling you. This is because if you see it as an insult, as you said, it has a way of immediately imbalancing you. If there's a word like that, it shakes your balance, because then you need time to come back to put yourself together. So as much as possible, especially if you are a human being, and we are human beings, and you are living with people, working with people, then you can never do away with criticism. It will come. It sometimes comes as a passing comment. It sometimes comes at dawn with a husband or a wife who is sitting you down. It sometimes comes from your office where your boss is sitting like that, and it's like a judgment seat and all that. So yes, there come the negative ones, and the negative ones, shake it off like a bad habit.
So I should say, it's not what you're called, is how you respond to it.
Exactly.
Okay, easier said than done. I think for our president, he gets criticized in the worst way every day, good and bad. You've got ministers, public people, if you're a personality, if you're on TV, it's something that you're pretty much used to. Like, but I think you're still human. Like, I can get like 1,000 comments on my Facebook, and let's just say 95% of them is positive, everything good, and the 5%, you're only human. You'd be like, oh, it will kind of get to you. I'm so used to it to the point of I'm like, oh, okay, well, hey, at least you know about me, so thank you. But a lot of people have not are not at that point where they're not in the public eye, so maybe they're not used to critique. Maybe in an office setting, in school, if it seems like it's an attack on you, so if you don't have that confidence yet, it's easier said than, oh, just suck it up, take it in a positive way. How do you then bring yourself to that point where you say, okay, well, they're saying that I'm fat, or they're saying that I'm unattractive, or they're saying that I'm not smart, or I don't dress well, or I don't, whatever it is, my performance is not good. How do you then take that and turn it around?
For such criticism, as I said, you should try as much as possible to take your emotions out and look at it. If it's an insult, direct insult, then you know that it's an insult. So with insults, you may not really, for instance, if somebody says you have a bad head, I mean, your head is big, is a bad insult. You can't really do anything
about it. Well, if your head is big, it's big.
Yes, exactly.
You can claim your big head. I can say my head is big, I know it's big, get over it.
Yeah. But if it is attacking attitude, if it's attacking personality, then you would want to analyze it. Look at it and see if there's a merit in it. If there's some truth in it, then you can work at it. Because haters will only look out for your negatives and use them against you most often. So try and look out if there is some positive in it, and then you work it. If there is not, really, you're human. Cry if you have to cry. Don't be a superhero and say that you're bottling every kind of emotions in there. If you have to cry. If you have to speak to somebody about it, do, because sometimes they lighten it up for you. You have somebody who is, you're a celebrity, somebody is hating you so much you don't know what to do.
I'm like, hate on me, yo, it's good.
Talk about it with a friend, especially one that can make it lighter for you to manage, and let it go. You laugh over it with a friend. It's easier than bottling that emotion in there. And very importantly, look into it and see if there is any merit, and then carry the merit. Now, when you carry that merit and you walk with it, the hater is the one who is disadvantaged at the long run, because you carried that criticism, destructive as it may be, and made a better person out of yourself.
Okay, what about elements of critique where it hurts you because you know there's the element of truth to it? To be honest, like if, for example, I don't know, some people, hey, you're loud. Okay, it's something that I'm a very jovial person. I don't take it as a negative thing. But if somebody has something, if someone says, oh, well, you have this, and that person is actually not content within themselves about that attribute or about that feature, or if you're always sloppy or you're whatever, and you haven't resolved it within yourself, and if they pick on it, it's going to actually get to you because you know there's an element of truth. So at least on the flip side, then, is critique something that, I guess, looking at it, you can actually take and use it to better yourself.
Exactly what it is. So if there is some merit, truth in it, and even hurts, really, human beings are very defensive. We the first thing we do is to defend our acts, and it's quite normal, because you always want you probably gave a thought to what you did, so you always want to justify why you did that. So yes, the first instinct might be to be defensive of something that is being told about you. But there could be a merit of truth. Like you're saying, if you're loud, you're loud. You were loud. You screamed at somebody in an office setting. You didn't bring me this work at the very point that I needed. So I have a right to criticize. And because you're human, you're not perfect. So be ready for it. So once that comes, you look at it and say that, truly I was this. Be truthful to yourself. Be very honest with yourself. That way you're able to see through the merit that comes with it. And sometimes, you see, we shake everything off. I mean, I said shake off sometimes, but we shake everything off to the extent that we even shake the truth in the destructive criticism off. Don't shake everything off just for the shaking off sake, if I should put it.
By being defensive.
Yes. because being defensive normally is giving excuses for why you did what you did and all that. But make time.
Okay.
And make time. We normally don't make time to look at what happened in the day and see what somebody said and that. So make some time and go through what it comes as a text message. Read it. If it came as a comment, give it a thought.
Okay. Also, on the flip side, the criticizer, the person giving out the critique, a lot of times people give out critique, they don't want to check themselves first. So on that side, if you're somebody who you truly care, if you want advice, because I do feel like it is, you said it's feedback, it's advice, also is how the feedback or critique given out has an implication on how it makes you feel about it. Because there's a difference with someone maybe calling you into a room and say, okay, look, I know, whatever, privately, I think you should work on this, as opposed to maybe publicly ridiculing as well, can also have an impact, because I think that has an impact with me being defensive or me being like, oh, okay, you're right, you actually, okay, maybe that presentation, I could have done it this way, or does that also have a great bearing?
It has a great bearing, because as much as we are human beings, we also have individual temperaments, and who we are in our temperaments sometimes has an effect on how we receive feedbacks or criticism from people. So you have the loud ones who are not really the sit me down person. They rather will feel that, oh, why he went all the way to my auntie to call me to sit, then the person, you're trying to do good, but the person will see that process as, wow, why? You just have to tell me as it is on the spot. There are people like that. There are people who would prefer, depending on their temperament, prefer that you sit them down. So especially in an office setting, you can't have a jacket for everyone, one jacket that suits everyone. So if you're somebody who is managing people in an office setting, you look for their individual preference of how they can receive it. And this is because the way they receive the criticism is also very essential for the growth of the company. So it is not for them, for their comfort, that you would want to go the extra mile to look at how they will receive it, but for the good of the company, for instance, you get it. So yes, the way it comes is very essential, and the one giving it, please, it's very essential that we look at people's way of doing things. Sometimes we are too harsh in the name of criticizing. You're insulting in the name of criticizing. You're disgracing somebody in the name of criticizing. So really we have to decipher, when is it that you're just throwing words at somebody, and when is it that you
have
really
your personal well-being or development at heart.
And if you're leading people, it is very essential that you make them know by loving everybody equally, which is sometimes almost impossible, but let them know that in your own way you love them. Then they can receive criticism from you as in, well, it is for the good.
Okay, I think lastly, what I would say to that also is, a lot of times too, maybe you get conflicting critique from, so the same thing, and that's where do you stand? So the same thing is like, oh wow, yeah, you why you can see, oh fatal, so I say, I don't know why you can see that. So where do you stand? When half the people are saying that, wow, this is great, or half the people are saying that, nay.
Really, who matters to you, and who is criticizing is very essential in that setting. I'm laughing really out this way because I've had a very personal experience just over the weekend, and somebody is like, you're doing great, and somebody is like, you're not doing too well.
So who do you listen to?
Who matters? If it is a job, the person who pays you is telling you, this is the way I want it. It is not the way you catwalk that matters. The person who pays you is telling you, because he probably has a vision and he shared with you. And so if you think otherwise, don't jump into doing the otherwise. Speak with that person. If it is a home setting and you have a family and all that, what matters to your children and probably your husband and your immediate family is your husband doesn't like you being plump and all that. And you want to please him. First and foremost, you want to please yourself and then him. Then you can look at it. Your mom thinks that, why are you so skinny? And then you're like, Mom, it's the new thing. And she says, no. So you choose between your mom or your dad, who thinks that the daughter is getting sick because she's so skinny,
Okay.
and your husbands who think that my wife is lovely because she's in shape.
It's
Who matters is what you look at.
brilliant.
Yeah.
All right, thank you very much. I want to say a big thank you to Afi Agbenyo, Director Mentorship of the HUD Group. Of course, so dealing with critique, know where, who to listen to, and of course, not all critique is bad critique. So learn to decipher and take the good things and also let the haters hate. It's all good. It actually makes you more popular, I think.